Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gertrude, for this opportunity, amazing opportunity for us to share our stories. My name, as Ruth said, is Som Tangma Kpante Adama. I am originally from Togo, but I am based in New York, USA currently. So I was born on the land of storytelling. Storytelling in the olden days, after dinner, around the fireplace was their television and social media. Stories were used to pass down culture, traditions, and teach life lessons from generation to generation. Our clothing and names are stories. Before you ask for the meaning of an African name, make sure you have the time and you are ready to listen to a story. My middle name, Tangma, means the 5 fingers of our hand are not the same, meaning we are all different with our shortcomings, our qualities, experiences, and everything. Each one of us is unique. So you see, Africa is known for rich storytelling, and yet a number of stories, a lot of stories remain untold. At 27 years old, my life was almost complete. I got my first master's degree. I even got a certificate of excellence in school. I went for another bachelor's degree. I got it with the first class honors. I came back with a well-paid job upon recommendation from my school, even before graduation. How cool was that? So I was at the top of all my games, except one, my love life. I had broken up with my then boyfriend. I did because I could no longer carry the emotional and psychological weight that relationship was forcing me to carry. But unfortunately, I will be only reminded of what being a woman, an African woman, a true African woman means. You know, the African woman, like my grandmothers, my mother, is and has to be strong, brave, and hardworking. She goes out of her own way to make sure everyone's needs are met, sacrificing her own. But at the same time, the African woman cannot express herself freely, her thoughts, feelings, and disagreements. When she does, she is being disrespectful. The true African woman is the one who can endure and tolerate all sort of abuses, emotional, psychological, financial, sexual, and even physical, without saying a word. Because most of the time, she's not even aware that some of them are abuses in the first place. This is how things have always been. She does not know better. The true African woman is the one who knows how to keep quiet. So, as a smart student of the culture, when my abusive boyfriend asked to come back in my life, I immediately said yes. We got together, we even got married. But 6 days, just 6 days, that is less than a week after the wedding, he left to where he was based, and I will never see him again. I did hear him about a year later, only for him to resume with the abusive words and asking for divorce. And even during the 6 days we had to spend together, a period that was supposed to be our honeymoon period, he physically and sexually abused me. So I ask today, until when should we remain silent? 1 out of 3 women have experienced either physical and or sexual abuse. 70% of women have been sexually harassed. We cannot even imagine how many women go through emotional and psychological abuses each single day, every single day. Because most of the time, those type of abuses do not leave a physical wound or scars. But trust me, the wound on the inside is more painful and the scars even bigger than physical violence. I could hear my heart and my mind start fighting. My heart was screaming, this is not okay. It is not. But my mind was still analyzing the situation, revisiting the culture, and trying to be the true African woman. And as I was still undecided about which one of them to follow, a woman, a neighbor, without knowing what I was going through, offered her piece of advice to the newlywed lady that I was. My daughter, she said, marriage is not easy. There is no place better. No matter what your husband will do or say, just breathe through it and tell yourself, this one too shall pass. This one too shall pass. How many of you can relate to that statement today? Today, I really wish this woman could have this opportunity to listen to me, just listen. But she will never. She died from a heart attack. And her story will never be heard. At only 11 years old, I had to witness my mother learn how to walk again, how to write again, how to speak again, just like my 3-year-old daughter. She lost the use of her arms and mouth during a stroke. So I ask again, until when should we remain silent? Until when? 85,000 of women were intentionally killed in just 1 year in 2017. 50,000 of them by either their intimate partners or their family members. And when I asked my mother just last month what really happened, in summary, emotional and psychological abuse. So I asked again, husband, wife, sister, brother, my fellow human being, until when should we remain silent? Until when? Today, I have rebuilt my life again. I am remarried. We have a beautiful daughter. She is only 3 years old, but she is the owner of the house. Now, this picture is not perfect. It is not a perfect picture. But we do, and we have to be able to hold the conversation. That is where the true change starts from, holding the conversation in our homes. I am building my businesses including a nonprofit organization that provides resources and empowers young women back in my home country, Togo, to get education and become financially independent. But I was not quite sure about my life purpose until I recently heard, deep in my heart, there is no way you could have gone through all this for nothing. Someone, somewhere, needs to hear your message and get inspired and take action. So today, for this woman, this man who listening to me, you have lost all hope because of the abuse, the breakups, the setbacks, the violence, the divorce. Listen to me. You can rise and build again. There is hope. You can rise and build again. Take on responsibility for your life. You see, taking on responsibility has nothing to do with feeling guilty. Just look for what went wrong and what to do better the next time. And do not feel guilty. Do not blame yourself. Mistakes are human. I like this statement by Michael Jordan, one of the greatest in the history of basketball. He said, and I quote, I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. So dream and dream big. Hold on to your dreams. You have a purpose on this earth. Set up goals and work every day to achieve them. Remember to surround yourself with positive people and things, because your environment can either break you or make you. I was very fortunate and blessed to have a supportive family and friends to carry me during those dark moments in my life. And for the parents listening to me today, just like myself, let us remember that every word that we tell our children has to be uplifting and build their self-confidence and self-esteem. Let us remember that parenting is mostly about setting up examples. The way you treat your spouse in front of your children tells them and teaches them how to treat their spouses and what to expect from their spouses when they grow up. It's been proven that children that have been exposed to violence and abuse, when they grow up, they either become abusers themselves or tolerating abuses. I remember one day asking my mother, Mom, can you hear Daddy talk? The way he's speaking to us, including yourself, is it good? She said, yes, I can hear him. So I said, why then are you keeping quiet? Why are you keeping quiet? She just smiled and said, And I remember one day finally gathering all my strength, and I went into my father's room. I was crying and shaking, but I was able. I did make up my mind, and I did express my feelings. I came out of that room that day, still with tears on my face, but my heart was at peace. Now, do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I love my father so much. He was a good man. He was very sweet, yet a caring man. A man of integrity and values. He was the one to teach me, and very early, that failure is part of life, and that I needed to learn how to overcome failure. Today, he lost his battle against cancer. He's no longer with us. But I will be forever grateful for him, because thanks to that life lesson, I am still standing today. But you see, that discussion I had with my father that day made me realize that sometimes some parents, some spouses, and some people within our society simply do not know better. If they knew better, they would have done better. They would have been doing better. They are simply replicating what they've experienced themselves. And therefore, the cycle of abuse just goes on and on. And that is why, for those of us who know, those of us who have the opportunity to learn and know better, or those of us who can simply just feel within our, somewhere deep in our heart, that this is not okay, we have no excuse to remain silent. We have no excuse to remain silent. Together, let us build a society that rejects violence as a means to solve problems. Let us speak up against messages that say violence or maltreatment of women is okay. It is simply not okay. It is simply not. Change may not come in our lifetime. This year, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the right of women to vote here in the United States. Now, this did not happen.
1 minute.
But it took some women and some men to stand up and speak up. Even if we do not live to enjoy it, our children, the next generation will, and we thank us for it. Today, it is our turn to stand up and speak up against abuse, because if we do not, the next generation will hold us accountable for it. There is this saying that silence is golden. But when it comes to abuse, violence against women, children, all human beings, silence stops being golden. Thank you.